Hey folks, Dr. Ed here with Total Body Healthcare and your Whiteboard Wednesday thought of the week. I've got written up on the board, Are You My Mama? It comes from a childhood book that we read to our sons when they were little. And like most preschool, most childhood books, they tell a great story, but they tell it in kind of a silly way. So what I want to do today is kind of give you some nutrition advice, maybe in a little bit of a silly way that you've never really thought of before. Here's my hope in how you use this advice. We've all had days where we get home from work exhausted. We think, oh man, I don't know what to cook for dinner. And typically on those days, that's when we eat a lot of our junk. So this is going to be a kind of a baseline that you can fall back on that keeps it simple. There's not a whole lot of thinking involved, and it still allows you to get in some decent nutrition into your body. It's a series of questions to help us to determine A, what kind of food it is, and B, how much we should be consuming, that kind of stuff. So first question that I want you to ask yourself is, when you're looking at this food, the first question is, did God make it or did man make it? That's the first thing you want to answer. Obviously, if you're eating more God-made food versus man-made food, you're going to be doing much healthier consumption anyways. With that being said, whether it's God-made or man-made, you still can't ignore the three macronutrients of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Since we live in America, I'm going to go ahead and suggest that we ignore the fats right now because they're usually part of our cooking process. That's a whole discussion on fats, so I don't want to ignore them, but keeping it simple, we're going to kind of put them on the back burner for today. So that leaves us proteins and carbohydrates. How do we know which is which? So first question, did God make it or did man make it? Second question, when this food was alive, did it have a mother? If it had a mother, then it's a protein. If it didn't have a mother, then it's a carbohydrate. That's a pretty simple little distinction. So for instance, if you got a piece of steak that came from a cow, which came from another cow, and so there's the mother connection. Chicken, same way. Fish, you can see where we're going right there. So if it had a mom, it's a protein. If it didn't have a mom, it's a carbohydrate. Based on my studies in nutrition, what I've read and dug in myself, I think we can eat as much protein as we want because we typically have a cutoff valve with protein. I know I have. I've been eating on a piece of steak or whatever, and I've gotten to the point where I can't eat any more of that steak. The carbohydrates, though, we tend to keep shoveling those in. So we got to determine how good is this carbohydrate for. So last question I want you to think about. We know it's a carbohydrate because it didn't have a mom. So then you got to ask this last question. In its natural state, and there's the key phrase right there, in its natural state, is this carbohydrate colorful and crunchy, or is it white and mushy? We want to eat the colorful and crunchy stuff. White and mushy, we're talking breads, pastas, rice, potatoes, those kinds of things. They're white and mushy. Colorful and crunchy, broccoli, lettuce, green beans, squash, carrots. Those are colorful and crunchy in their natural state. So there's your basic nutrition plan for you. When you're exhausted, you can't figure out what to eat, make something that had a mom and make something that's colorful and crunchy and eat that, and you're going to be doing good as far as your nutrition is concerned. Dr. Ed here, Total Body Healthcare. I hope this information was helpful for you. I hope you have a great day, and think about this Whiteboard Wednesday thought of the week.